today we're talking about FOMO, fear of missing out. And this originated in a client session. I have an amazing, beautiful, wonderful client who was expressing this feeling and who was expressing or acknowledging that she had been in awareness that this is something that happens with her a lot, that her ego uses FOMO to get her to do things, invest in things, attend things, say yes to things that she knows she should be saying no to, doing things she knows she should be taking a back seat for, because the ego fears missing something. The ego fears that an opportunity that is presented to you is supposed to be for you, and come hell or high water, no matter what it takes, you're supposed to make it happen, because if you don't, this fear of missing out is present, right? And it can trip us up, because when we want flow in this experience, we want to know that we're, moving through life, taking every opportunity that comes our way and moving with it. We want to know that, as we are moving and shifting and changing, we're aligned with what it is we're moving and shifting and changing towards. And the ego is what this physical experience, the contrast of this physical experience, and what came here to kind of assist us, really, in making sure, are we tuned in, tapped in, turned on with spirit right now? Or are we giving more power to the physical world, the fear we see, the lack we see, the scarcity we see, the dis-ease around us that we see? Are we giving more power? More attention is power. Attention is power. Attention is our power. When we recognize that our attention is one focused in fear, we're giving our power to fear. When we recognize that our attention, like Elaine's, is focused on gratitude and love and abundance, we're staying in our power, because that's what we are. We are abundant, we are love, we are happiness, we are joy, we are in that energy of gratitude all the time. It's what we are. So we are having our power, we're keeping our power, we're in our power. Okay. FOMO essentially means, everybody got your journal? Give you a minute, get your journal, because you're going to want to write it down. It's really good. I had to write it down in the middle of my session. I was like, this is Topic Thursday. She's like, okay, really? Are you going to no, I promise I won't tell anybody what we talked about, but this is Topic Thursday. FOMO is essentially you not trusting yourself to make the right decisions. When you have a fear of missing something, it's because you feel you aren't making the decisions in that moment that are right for you. When we have an opportunity that looks really fancy, really good, if it is not aligned with us, perhaps because of the energy behind it, because maybe the timing is off, maybe because the integrity of the what do you want to call it, the innards, or the integrity of the coming together of it is actually, you know what I mean? You could have a cake that looks magnificent, but the ingredients are expired. If we are not meant to be somewhere, we won't align with it. But our ego says, what are you talking about? That looks amazing. That has the potential to make you happy. That has the potential to make us rich. It has a potential to make us seen. It has the potential for, what do you mean you're not feeling sure? So you have this fear of missing something because you won't admit to yourself that that's not for you. You see, when we trust ourselves, we know without doubt what's for us and what's not for us. We don't have a fear of missing out, because what's for me is always going to be for me no matter what. I'm going to know it, feel it, sense it, taste it, smell it. It's going to just be. It's going to line up. Now, what happens when we know something's meant for us, but it's just not coming together? Does this mean that we're not aligned with it? No. At times it means that we've got to do work internally to become greater in the alignment, to become more firmer in the alignment, and to essentially open ourselves up in the alignment so that more of the energy of what it is can flow through you. And when more of the energy flows through you, more of its presence comes to you. That's Topic Thursday next. No, I'm just kidding. When you open yourself more to it, more of it can flow through you. as it flows through you, more of it moves towards you. As you open yourself up to it and more of it flows through you, you become more like it, and more like it attracts more of it into your experience. You picking up what I'm putting down? But when you have fear of any kind, you restrict the energy of it flowing through you, and then it can't come towards you. The other thing that is associated with this fear of missing out, meaning I'm not trusting myself to know what I'm supposed to do here, is also a sense of I'm going to make a mistake. It's compiled upon already how I'm feeling is crap, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to say no when it's supposed to be yes. I'm going to go left when I'm supposed to go right. I'm going to say, this is for me when it's really not. I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to invest in it and it's not going to come to fruition. I'm going to, leave my job and nothing's going to happen. I'm going to biff it. I'm going to fall. I'm going to really hurt myself. And that's what the ego is there to tell you, is that you're going to make a mistake. And by making a mistake, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself financially. You're going to hurt yourself emotionally. You're going to hurt yourself physically, But when we trust ourselves, we know without doubt that this is what it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no, deviating off the path and creating something other than what is going on right now. There's just no way. It's as if we're trying to convince ourselves, when we trust ourselves, it's as if, how do I want to say that again? Because that was a good point. You know your name. You know your name like you know your name, and nobody can tell you your name is anything other than what your name is. You trust that much. When you trust in your ability to know what's right for you and move towards what's right for you, you don't leave room for doubt. You don't leave room for lack. You don't leave room for uncertainty, because no one's uncertain about what their name is. No one's uncertain about who they are. Essentially, I am Jacqueline Hopper. You can tell me I'm anything other. My body won't even respond to the accuracy of that. You can muscle test anything, and it'll tell you that's not who you are. You're not Mickey Mouse. Doesn't even feel right when you say it. Doesn't really sound right when it comes out of your face. You know when something's not you, right? But yet we don't fine tune this to the degree in which we can make choices based off of what we know aligns with us or not. And that's really where fear of missing out comes in. We've got a FOMO about a program. We really, really, really want to do the program, but you might not be emotionally ready for it. You might not be energetically ready for it. You might not be financially ready for it yet. There's a lot of reasons why it might just not be your time. See, I want to say that one more time, your time, because there's such a thing as your time and divine time. Divine time means, let's say that program wasn't energetically aligned with you, and it was because of a multiple different reasons. Well, when that program comes back around, because it will, if it's meant for you, it always comes back around. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And we'll get into that. But if this is not a divine time thing, when it does come back around, it'll be more aligned when it is divine time. That's the other thing that's kind of playing a role into this FOMO thing. We have this misconception that time is a thing here, and it's really at the root of our experiences. A fear of missing something means that I have to hop on it right now because it's time right now. I can't wait because I'll miss it. I can't hold off because it won't come through. Does this make sense? So there's a timing thing we also have to look at here. When something's meant for us to have or be or do or to step into, timing is aligned. All aspects of the having of it is aligned. The feelings of it are aligned. When fear of missing out comes in, it's a step, it's an opportunity to step back and go, what is this? What am I in need of seeing? What do I have to be aware of here? Am I aligned with this? Am I not aligned with this? Pretty much answers already no, you're not aligned with this. Because if you were, you wouldn't have fear of missing it. So no, I'm not aligned with this. Why am I not aligned with this? Is there things that I can do to get into alignment with it? Because that could very easily be something that you're guided towards. Yes, you want to invest in this course, but you might need to be aligned a little bit more in your confidence of stepping into it. So we work on our confidence, boom, it happens, and we step in effortlessly. But perhaps it's not time yet. And this is something that, again, people get stuck on this, and it shouldn't be. It's not complicated. It's a matter of just going, nope, that doesn't feel like that. It feels like this. All right, cool. And just moving through. See, that takes a lot of confidence in self. It takes a lot of confidence in the connection that we have to ourselves to be able to move that way. This feels really good. It looks really good. It tastes really good, but it's not good for me. And so I have to say no. It might even stir up kind of like an energy of sadness or grief within you because you have to part ways with it. But ultimately by doing so, Source has something much greater for you to have or be or do or step into. We have to believe in ourselves. And in doing this, what we're also doing is connecting with and trusting in the divine that runs through us and flows through us. People feel like a lack of support from the universe when we're trying to manifest something, right? I want this beautiful big house, but like the universe isn't making it happen. Well, the universe it's already in the universe. It's part of the universe. It can potentially be the universe. You're not aligned with it. You have to work on getting aligned with it. Okay, when you feel like the universe isn't supporting you, in essence, what that is you not supporting you. When you support you, all things transpire and conspire in your favor. When you support you and when you trust you, you move effortlessly through this experience. And it's what we want. We want to gain that momentum of trusting ourselves and moving effortlessly through this experience, because when it stops or doesn't happen, that's an indicator, whoop, it's not I fell off. It's not I'm stuck. It's not the whole world's ending. No, it's a moment for you to recognize something shifted in the energy that you just need to be aware of, get back on track with, shift and move out a little bit, do a little better energetic work around so that you can move up and above and around and over it. Healing is our ability to move beyond an experience we're having right now. When we do the healing work, we can move beyond an experience we're having right now. It's essential. What's aligned for you will always be for you. It'll be repeated and cycled back multiple times. That is a belief of mine. We should say that. That is a belief of mine. A belief of mine is that I can't miss a mark. My life symbol is an arrow. You've seen it multiple times. It's on my walls. It's on, there's over there. It's in my other office. It's on my body. It's an arrow. Arrows shoot forward. Arrows never shoot backwards. It always goes in the direction in which it's aimed and released. Okay, so what's meant for you is always like an arrow gonna just come right back around. It's meant for you. It's meant to hit you. It's meant to make its mark. You're the mark. It's coming for the mark. It's coming for you. Abundance is for me. It's coming for me. When we shift perspective around some things, when we shift the mental mindset and the mental chatter around things, all things start making sense. All things make new sense. All things come together and add in sense. You see and feel this more in a negative for the harder to escape. Okay. What's meant for me will always be and cycle back for me. Okay, I understand my thought there. We can say pattern wise. I have a pattern of repeating coffee. Oh, yes, we'll call coffee. I have a pattern of repeating coffee, and this is always cycling back to me. This is always being something that's repeated. This habit of always having coffee, right? Well, until I recognize that it's a pattern, and until I'm ready to really embody and embrace the fact that perhaps this habit of coffee is not aligned with me. It's not good for me. It's not helping me. It's not supporting me. It's time to let it go. I have to not only rectify the thinking around that in a positive way of letting it go. Thank you for supporting me, coffee, and whatever it was you supported me with up until now. But I'm ready to release you. I'm ready to let you go. I'm ready for you to move on and do greater things. And I'm going to do the same. So love you, but we're separating, kind of a thing. We have this habit of constantly thinking about things cycling back to me and always being repeated in my world when it comes to the negative thing. Relationships, habits, old patterns, the way we handle money or don't handle money. When something's being shown to you repeatedly, it's because you've not yet learned the lesson. Once you learn the lesson, once you shift perspective and you have a new awareness about what this lesson is, things start to change energetically where you will no longer bring in that kind of relationship, coffee, whatever. Does this make sense? When we feel it being positive, like, here we go, a money, you have a really great money month. You get an unexpected windfall. If you're a spiritual entrepreneur, you know that in business every month is going to be different. Some months are 4-figure months, some months are 5-figure months. We're working towards those 6-figure months. We are always in the flow of energy when it comes to money. So money sometimes comes in and it flows, sometimes it ebbs a bit and drops off. When you're in a business for yourself, you recognize that those months are going to happen. But see, no one likes to have those months happen. I know it's going to happen, but I don't like to feel those months happen. When you get into the groove of knowing and feeling and trusting you're supported at all times by yourself and the universe, whether it's up and down and ebb and flow and in and out, it doesn't really matter. Because I know without doubt that it's always going to be there when I need it. So when you've got this 5-figure month, then you're like, oh my gosh, it's not going to continue. Why won't it continue? You've automatically restricted, pulled yourself out of the energy. When you are focused on bringing in a 5-figure month and that 5-figure month happens, what you say is, see, this can happen. See, this is my reality. See, I can have months that bring in 4 or 5 figures. I'm really good at this. This is amazing. I love this. Yes, please, more of that for Jackie, please. Thank you. We get in the rhythm of recognizing when things are happening in our favor. We want to point those out, billboard those out, speak about those things more. We want to shout about those things more, share about those things more, but you're bragging BS. Because quite frankly, I'd rather somebody bragged to me about their things rather than complain to me about their things. Because one energy feels completely different than the other when it's in integrity, when we're celebrating our accomplishments. I would rather hear somebody tell me about their accomplishments all day long rather than complain about what's not working and what they're not doing to try and fix their situation. I would rather know what's working. I would rather know how it's working. I would rather see you successful and thriving. I would rather see you in the flow at all ways. When you get used to flow, you get flow. When you say, I had a 5-figure month, that means next month's going to tank. You're already focused on the ebb. You already pulled yourself out of the energy, and you get what you think about the most. Okay, so the next aspect of this FOMO, fear of missing something. The guides came through and they showed me a spider web. At first is what I thought was a spider web. And then they started to really add more to it. And it started to kind of look like a tapestry or a blanket of some sort. And what they said to me was that we are all woven together. My experience affects the experience of others. Others' experience affects my experience as well. But in that, your experiences are woven into your life's journey here and what you're supposed to be seeing, feeling, doing, having, all that jazz, okay? What's meant for you that's lined up by the universe that is absolutely supposed to happen here in this physical world is it's woven into the tapestry or blanket or whatever you want to call it of you and your life here in the physical world. And then it's like a quilt. Thank you. It's like a quilt. I have a Kathy Reed. Is Kathy Reed on? Hi, Kathy Reed. I think you are. That section of the quilt is the Jackie Hopper. The next little section of the quilt is the Kathy Reed. And in that, fine tune, going deeper. The quilt in and of itself, when it's completed, is source. And then all the different squares are all the different aspects of source, which are us. And then as you go closer to the quilt and you closer to that section, you see the experiences that make up that section, Jackie, of the quilt, which makes up the whole of the universe. Make sense? Cool. If abundance is meant to be yours, then it's woven in the experience that you are going to have in your physical world that's woven into the whole thing. You can't, for those of you who do these kinds of things, you remove a real big aspect of a thread, you pull a thread out, and suddenly the colors don't look the same. The structure doesn't look the same. Some blankets, depending on how they're put together, can fall apart. So why on earth would we think that if something's meant for me, it won't come through? It's woven, and it makes up me, in my experience, which makes up the quilt of the universe, the blanket and the woven togetherness of the universe and collective.